Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back down under the mat. We are back.
We are.
It's been a few weeks since we've actually filmed the podcast because life just gets in the way sometimes. But we are back here in Madison Square Garage. Almost stuffed it up.
Almost pointed it up.
Scruffed it up.
It's gone well.
We are around the pool table of relevancy and we are here to bring you pro wrestling reviews and news. Dan, how are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Busy weekend for us already.
Yes.
Weekend. We've gone out to both Okea and Costco.
Yep.
There's more people that I've seen.
Oh, it was
very busy.
Painfully busy.
But no, look, last couple of weeks have been good. Went away last weekend to go see the family. That's why we didn't record. Yeah. We've had some concerts. We went to Sydney a couple of weeks ago to go see the PWI
Coliseum,
yeah.
which was absolutely fantastic couple of days of wrestling. And we will be touching base on that in a exclusive review episode that we're going to be doing.
Exclusive. We can chuck a separate video up on that one. That'd be fun.
Make sure you tune in for that.
But yeah, no, just busy with work, with life, with family, with wrestling.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Yeah, I had about a sickness last week, so I'm happy to be over that and back here.
You and me both.
Oh, it was rough, mate. Coming out of both ends.
Oh, that's charming.
No.
No?
It's not.
Right.
I hated it.
Let's talk wrestling then. Hey?
All right, let's kick it off with Raw, because we had some big shit happen on Raw this week. Specifically, big Bronson Reed getting jumped several times by Seth Rollins, and the match for Crown Jewel has been made official as per Adam Pearce.
Look, what I liked about this is the last couple of weeks, obviously, they've been trying to get to each other and there's been pull-apart brawls. That's fun, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the way that they utilised the cameras for this so that, since Raw for the last couple of months, they've been doing that showing up to the show shot where people have been hopping out of their buses or walking in with their suitcases and here's when Daddy Dom and that showed up this afternoon for the building and stuff, and they've been doing those shots at the start of the show. They did this with Bronson, where Bronson's just walking into the arena and you just see Seth from behind and just come running in. I loved that they integrated that into the starting shot. Like, we'll talk about it on SmackDown, but the opening shot of SmackDown was Randy walking through the backstage to the gorilla position, then straight out to the ring. That was the one-shot start. They've been doing that a lot. And now to intertwine that not only into a promo segment where someone walks out to the ring and starts talking, but to a brawl that then leads into
and it was a
multiple
hell of a brawl as well.
I really like, and this kind of ties into other things we probably haven't spoken about because we haven't been here for a couple of weeks. Like we did talk about the KO turn on Cody that was caught on fam footage. The SmackDown the week after, him and Randy and CCTV footage backstage. Like, it seems like Trips has been trying to put things in different camera
perspectives.
Not that much a camera shot, but like different ways of filming the show is causing different things. So now that you can't be like, if they're just walking in, it's fine, I'll wait till they start. You now have to pay attention because something could happen in that. At the end of the show, once the thing's cut off, something could happen after the show. Something could happen in the press conference. Like when, was it Drew? It was Drew when he pushed Barrett in the middle of the CM Punk feud after SummerSlam, I think. That was on the post-match press show that they were sitting around the panel talking and Drew got in there and they got involved. That became part of the storyline. Like
They're really trying to make their product absolutely must-see TV. Whether it's the TV product, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, the PLEs every month or so, as well as all these little offshoots like the post-show, the pre-show, the bump, like all this sort of stuff. There is superstar interaction and storyline building on all of these avenues, and it's making it all must-see.
Do you think that's because they've cut it back to 2 hours? Do you think that's been a good thing the last couple of weeks with Raw being 2 hours now instead of 3?
No. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know whether it's me just being used to Raw being a 3-hour product. I think the first couple of weeks where it was 2 hours were a little scuffed. Things felt a little rough. This week's Raw felt a lot better paced. But we all know this is only a temporary thing, which is fine. It's only until the end of the year. Once they kick off on Netflix, it will be back to 3 hours. And WrestleVotes is also reporting from January 3rd until May 30th, SmackDown will also be 3 hours too. So that's going to be a lot of wrestling content to soak in every week.
It's Mania season, so
Yeah, and that's the really good thing. That's the build to WrestleMania, which is where you want extra time.
yeah.
Especially like that lead up with The Rock going overtime, getting cut off, and like that, all those shenanigans. Having 3 hours will be very good.
Yeah.
Because we do expect Rocky to be back at this WrestleMania as well.
We do. And if we go back to Bronson and Seth, like the pull-up brawl of this was great. Obviously, they teased another tsunami that Seth got out of the way of. They finally set up the match with Adam Pearce yelling and saying, you'll both get what you want. You have your match at Crown Jewel, which is what we wanted. I think this has been a really good build. I think they have thankfully kept the momentum on Bronson after the last Monster Standing stuff.
Yeah.
Although he didn't win it.
Due to Seth's return.
It hasn't taken anything away from Bronson, and I think that they've really sort of lent into what he has done in terms of that last Monster stuff, and the spots with him putting people through the tables and stuff and setting that up is being really well done. So I'm super happy.
And like you look at that, Bronson's still around, and he lost the last Monster Standing match.
Yeah, and
Braun tore his groin, so he's gone. He's out.
Poor Pinky.
He couldn't. He may have won the match, but he could not survive big Bronson Reed. He did.
I guess the other big change from Raw this week that we'll talk about is kind of a bit of a news point as well.
Yeah.
Samantha Irvin.
Yes. Gone. Kaput.
Pour one out for Sam.
I've only got water.
No. Drinking it. Look, I think that it's unfortunate that she's going. She was very good at her job, and we loved her doing it.
Absolutely.
Glad to see that it's for her musical career.
Absolutely.
What she wants to go and do. Because I would have felt a bit cheap if she had just left and then gone to AEW.
Yeah,
although Justin Roberts drives me mental.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had a problem. It's just I feel like if you're gonna be a ring announcer, why not be the ring announcer on the biggest show in the business? And she already had that.
Yep.
So I think leaving would have been silly for that choice. But for her to go for a musical career, you saw how much. When she sung the anthem and stuff, she's brilliant. She's been on America's Got Talent. She does the flute. She's a very, very good singer.
Yep.
All power of the world to her. She's banked a bit of money. Ricochet's obviously getting paid good coin over in AEW now, so she doesn't need to stress. Now's the time to go for it.
Yeah, I think it's a smart business decision on her part as well. Like, just with the history that she's had in the music industry, getting that experience on America's Got Talent. And she's also now elevated her own brand through doing this ring announcing for WWE. So people that love her will follow her through that music career now. And that's going to give her a great head start when she starts releasing music and albums and maybe even going on tours and stuff.
Opening for Taylor Swift.
Absolutely.
With obviously her leaving, that brings back Lillian Garcia.
Yes.
Great. It was really good to see her on TV.
Nice bit of nostalgia, and as nostalgia has shown, she still botches.
Number 1 containers match for the tag.
Turn him in. I feel bad for her because she's got to be so happy being back, but I reckon she felt so much pressure to follow in Samantha's footsteps, which is crazy to think about because we had that interaction with Sam and Lillian a few weeks back, and it kind of it looked like a passing of the torch moment, but now she's got to
pass it back.
Yeah, she's got to take it back, and it's very hard to stack up to Samantha.
Yeah, and I also think we've got to give Lillian time to get back into the swing of things. I don't know, but I don't feel like she's the kind of person that sits there and watches Raw and SmackDown every week and keeps up with the storylines. She appreciates wrestling and what the wrestlers do, but she doesn't know that Otis lost 2 weeks ago to, Wyatt Six or whatever. She's not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
So when, she was given clearly the card to just announce, it's and now announcing Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee with Joaquin Wilde and whatever was just written down, and you look up and
nobody was there with them. Yeah.
But Lillian doesn't know that. She's just been given the piece of paper.
Yeah.
So I think give her a couple of weeks to get back into the swing of things with it. It's probably a good thing from WWE's perspective to go for that nostalgic pop, especially leading into
WrestleMania season.
WrestleMania, Netflix, The Rock, Cena, etc.
Yeah.
She'll be great to have around then.
It's really going to bring that classic 2010s vibe back.
Because I don't mind Alicia Taylor on SmackDown, and I don't mind Mike Rome either. But I feel like either of those take the spot, and they're going to be instantly compared to Samantha.
Yeah.
Sam was doing so well, why would you go back to this? Whereas Lillian, you're not going to have that same problem because a lot of people still respond to her from 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So she'll be like, that's fine, Lillian's there. It's all good.
Yeah.
So I think smart play from them, even if it is a short-term run, even if it's 6 months until you get, Mike Rowe back to SmackDown and somebody else across. Like, NXT is a performance center and a development area, not just for the wrestlers. It's for the commentators. It's for everything else. So give it time.
Yep, absolutely. Moving on. Do we want to touch on the main event yet, or have we got topics?
No, before.
All right.
From last week's Raw that we want to talk about, that we didn't talk about, that was the pre-tape show, was the return.
Ah, yes.
The War Raiders.
The War Raiders are back. They were in the number 1 containers tournament for the tag team championships. I 100% think that this is Triple H bringing them back to his product. They're going to win this tournament and then win the tag titles.
Okay, who else is qualified? I can't even remember from the Raw side.
Don't know. All I care about is the War Raiders, mate. Yeah, they need to.
I can't remember if Ray in that one or if it was the New Day. No, New Day got through. So next week, is it War Raiders, New Day?
And maybe it was LWO because it's a triple threat match to get the number 1 contenders.
Correct.
Well, it's War Raiders, man. It's War Raiders. Absolutely.
Look, I love the fact that Eric is fit again. I'm happy that they stick with Eric and Ivar instead of... What was their NXT names? It wasn't Eric and Ivar. No, you can't
remember. Yeah, I know. And that's kind of... I can't remember.
Wow.
Hansen was one of them.
Yeah, Hansen was definitely Eric. No.
I think Hansen was Ivar. Yeah. I think Eric's just always been Eric.
I don't know. Anyway. We're definitely going off track there. But it's really good to see them back as the War Raiders. Fans can start chanting war again. They look a little less silly.
Yeah.
Than when they would.
They've got their seriousness back, which is really good.
And look, I loved the Viking experience when they were called that to start with, which was I loved the what were the matches they had with New Day and Alpha Academy with the big Viking ship? What were they called? Because they had like the whole ship and everything was there, and it was like it was just a no DQ match. But with the Viking ship, and it was,
I can't remember.
Yeah, but they were fun.
They're great. Were they Viking experience matches?
That's why I thought Viking experience was not.
Great.
But I'm glad that they're back as War Raiders, take them a bit more seriously, roll through this tournament, become the tag champions, and then build up somebody to try and beat these 2 big meaty men. Because big fans of that.
Absolutely.
Other things that happened on Raw this week. Because last one we haven't touched on was it last week when it was Sheamus and Butch Pete Dunne in the Donnybrook match?
Yep.
That's great, man.
That was a cracker.
That
was a cracker
where
match.
They jumped off the barrels.
The white noise off the barrels through the tables. Amazing.
Glad
Loved
it.
it.
A couple of weeks off because, boys, that was a good match.
Yep.
No, this week was the White Six attacking AOP after they just beat down
New Day.
No. New Day left.
Who was it? R-Truth. Because Miz was out there. Miz was out there.
Came out, and then Miz, and I don't care about that storyline whatsoever.
No.
I'd already forgotten.
No.
And then, the White Six showed up.
Yep.
And beat up them.
I think this is going to be interesting because we had the hype around the Wyatt Six when they were feuding with Chad Gable and American Made. That's all done and dusted now. We've been kind of waiting with bated breath a little bit. What's next? I think this is going to be a step in the right direction because this is actually going to be formidable challenges for the Wyatt Six. And you saw it on Raw. Nikki Cross went straight for Scarlett. Are we going to get in-ring action with Scarlett?
No, we're not.
She's not that bad, guys. Come on. No. She's not a Eva Marie type.
What I think this does is you're going to get your 6-man tags and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I actually think what this does the most is a Miz and Uncle Howdy feud. Where Miz is the chicken shit heel, always running away and scared. But
that's
he's the
best
one,
Miz.
Correct. That is the best Miz. But he is the one guy that can play that chicken shit heel and put the other person over consistently, then have a good match, and then continually stay heel and not be buried whatsoever. Yeah. Miz will always come out of this and always make the other person look better.
Yep.
So I think if you want Howdy to finally have a single... Because I think as much as we wanted Howdy and Gable for how that was all set up to start with, and that could have been a really good singles match, I don't think either of them come out looking better after that feud. Like, Howdy beats Gable, great, but then Gable sucks.
Yeah.
Gable can't beat Howdy because then why would Howdy have spent the last 3 years being built as a character to that one? Whereas Howdy can beat Miz, and Miz just comes straight out the other side.
Yeah.
So I think that that's probably a better way that you've had them interact, you've had the Wyatt Six get involved, you've got them on TV, the crowd love them. Put them against Miz, who can be face, can be heel, can do whatever you want, and I think that will put Howdy over more than anything they've done so far.
I think the mind games that the White Six will play with Miz are going to be really good. I'm going to be very interested to see how Karrion Kross and AOP deal with that sort of stuff as well, if they're going to be continued to be aligned with Miz for the time.
Because I think
it's technically 4-4 at that stage.
Because I think Paul Ellering's gone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that's Paul Ellering getting written off TV. Because dude's like mid-70s.
You mentioned the Meltzer article, and I kind of agree with him in this, that Ellering's like 71 or 72 years old.
Touring on the road on a weekly basis. Like, that's got to take a huge toll on him.
Yeah, and he's not doing anything.
No, he's not being the mouthpiece for AOP.
Correct.
We now have Karrion Kross that can do just as good.
The man with the silver tongue, supposedly. It's his turn, Miz. Yeah, look, I think Ellering goes away, sadly.
I mean, it was cool to see him come back because of the NXT history with him and AOP. But he's not really done anything.
Him with, back in the original day with, like,
Legion of Doom
and stuff. Like, trying to portray AOP as the modern day version. Like, I got what they were doing.
Yeah. It hasn't worked, and it's, like, no disrespect to Paul Ellering, but he's just not being used well or right.
And I like, too, the way that they've used this storyline. Because last week, when someone was getting attacked and Woods kept on saying to Kofi, don't do it. Like, let's not go back in, let's go back in. And then when they went back in, they got beat up. This week, he did the same thing. It's like, it's not our problem. It's not our problem. Stop it. And then the White Six showed up.
Yeah.
And I think now Woods is going to get, like, be right and say to Kofi, I told you we shouldn't have.
Yep.
And we didn't. And look what happened.
They were safe from the massacre.
And so I think that the way that they're twisting Kofi and Woods against each other, they're both right, but then they're both wrong, and then it's good.
And then the olive branch of Big E comes in and brokers peace between them.
Bring him back.
Is it time?
The only other comment I have for Raw.
Okay, here we go.
Because the Judgment Day stuff is whatever. Who cares?
Over it.
It's fine. And the whole Raquel thing.
The most respect to Mami, but I'm fucking over this storyline. I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. I'm done with it.
Yep.
I don't give a shit.
I disagree with you whatsoever.
I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Carlito needs to learn Chinese.
I
get that it's a joke.
It sort of clicked. I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I was like, wait, no, that's not funny.
No, that's very.
I get that. Like, I've seen a lot of people comment, oh, I get that. Like, it's a racial comment, but Carlito's probably he's trying to play the dumb character, and
I get it.
He's trying to be funny, and like, now's not the time to like use that to try and be funny.
I think that is a Carlito original run in WWE. That joke's hilarious.
Yeah,
and he knows.
Oh,
it is.
Absolutely.
And
that's probably why he went with it.
15 years later, not so much. Yeah. And like, I get it's the dumb character making the dumb joke about it, and it's fine. And it's at the end of the day, what he said is harmless. It's a harmless joke. It's no intention of being overly racist. It's just poor, right?
Yeah,
it's poor timing. The way that everybody talks so strongly about the allegiances with New Japan and how people have gone to Japan for wrestling and come out of Japan for wrestling, and we knew this guy's been there. Finn Balor was in New Japan with Bullet Club. There's no Carlito doesn't know that she's Japanese. There's no, like, it's a poor joke. Sorry, dude.
Come on. Speaking of poor jokes. Even Adam Pearce was flabbergasted.
Yeah, right? And he wanted to make it official. Oh, just give me a drink. He's an alcoholic too. Yeah. But speaking of poor jokes, let's talk about Jey Uso's Intercontinental title run.
Yep.
And that being a poor joke.
Yeah. There is a lot of discourse online about this at the moment. You're either on the side of, why would they give him such a short title run? That's just stupid. Or you're on the side of, he never deserved it in the first place.
So I think we said a couple of weeks ago that we were happy that it occurred because Jey deserved his title run.
Yeah.
And Braun would then be freed up to do bigger, better things, which is what they showed. They went next to Gunther and that sort of was like, oh, we're teasing us. That never freaking happened.
Yeah. Nope. And then we're just back where we started.
Correct. And so I think that this was ticking a box to give Jey a title.
Yep.
To be utilised in the Bloodline story.
Yep.
For him to say that Roman had his respect because he got a title and now he's main event Jey USO.
Which we got that on SmackDown last week.
Right? All of that was literally to tick a box for a Bloodline story that's happening somewhere else. And all that has done has buried Braun Breaker and buried the IC title. You had Gunther that had that IC title for 666 days. It made that title so much more prestigious than it's ever been, and we give it to Jey Uso to defend it twice and lose it within a month because of outside interference from the Bloodline? This was meant to be the workers' title. This was meant to be the title that the ring general had put so much prestige back into, that Braun Breaker was going to catapult to the bloody top of the WWE with, because he was going to have a dominant reign. He's going to be the best champion you have, and then you sell it to Jey Uso. You're like, all right, fine. Jey can finally be main event Jey Uso. He can finally be the main event. No, he's going to lose to the Bloodline and give it back to Braun Breaker. Why did he lose it in the first place? I don't like this decision, Reece.
I really don't. Like, look, at the time, I was like, hell yeah, Braun's got the title back. But then, like, when you look at that bigger picture and you look at how they've used the prestigious, arguably one of the most prestigious titles in the business, in history, the lineage goes back decades and decades and decades. The amount of WWE Hall of Famers that have held that title, the list is endless.
Like Dolph Ziggler.
Way to make light of the situation. But you use that title for a quick little cheer for Jey for finally getting it and then having him drop it because of Bloodline stuff. The Bloodline angle, this whole story,
doesn't need it.
Didn't need it at all. And as Dan said, you spent 2.5, nearly 3 years building Gunther up and giving that title prestige again, because it's just been cannon fodder previously, and then you just go and throw it away like that. We've now had 4 title changes this year since WrestleMania.
Yep.
In the past 6 months.
Look, I'm not against them. I think it's fine that it'd be back on Braun. I think he's the one that's meant to have the title, but I just feel like this was a waste of time.
Yep.
And you know, you had the story where the week after Braun came out and shook hands and said he gives the full respect to Jey, and then Jey said, "Oh, the dog's here," and everyone, "Hoo, hoo, hoo." Right?
And then
he turns on him the next week.
And then Braun tried to play that out like he was being sarcastic, and that's why he turned on him. Like, it just didn't make sense.
But then, even this week, before the match happens, Braun talks about how he's going to get his title back, and then he says to whoever's, I can't remember if it was Kathy or whatever, backstage, like, are there any any dogs around? Oh, and the crowd start chanting for him. As he comes back in. Is he heel? Is he babyface? Did you want him to beat Jey? Did you not want him to beat Jey? Why are we doing this? Is just...
They're stupid.
Oh, so mad. And then what happens on SmackDown? We're going to let's spoiler. Let's go straight to SmackDown.
Let's go straight to SmackDown.
Jey shows up to SmackDown, costs the tag team titles to the Bloodline, and then they lose them to Motor City Machine Guns. Fantastic news, really well done.
We called that a couple of weeks back.
But that happened. That didn't need Jey to have the IC title or lose the IC title to get involved back in the Bloodline story to then cost the Bloodline their titles. So you could have just had Braun stay the champion the entire time, and then Jimmy and Jey finally just make up. Because the pop, I will give, the pop that you get when Jimmy and Jey reconcile, they hug each other.
Oh, that was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
And when Roman gets that next week, and then Jey hugs Roman next week, everyone's going to love the same thing. It's what we wanted.
Yep.
Did not need to ruin the IC title by doing this.
Yeah.
End rant?
End rant?
For the moment.
All right, so we've ended that rant. One thing that I'm finding really interesting at the moment, at no point so far, we've got a month until War Games, right? Which everyone expects to be Bloodline versus Bloodline. At no point is there an inkling at all that Sammy's going to defect over and join that Bloodline. So who is the fourth member of that team?
Nicolay?
Apparently he's going.
I did four.
Are they gonna choke slam him off the top of the War Games cell through a truck filled with hay for some reason?
Yes, they are. It'll be there for some reason.
All right, I'm fine. Book it. Done.
This is a story I could see pulled off.
Okay.
The Rock
Yes, this is my theory on how it leads into WrestleMania.
is that The Rock comes back on Team Roman
Yep.
to take out Solo.
Yep.
And he sells that he's the one that's going to help them out. And then they get in the middle of the War Games match.
And he turns
and
on.
Rock turns. And Rock says no. And it's actually 5-on-3.
Yep.
6-on-3. No, wait, 5-on-3.
5-on-3,
It's 4-on-4. Yeah.
I don't know how else it's going to pan out. Unless we start getting stuff on the Raws leading up of Jey talking to Sammy, and then that's how they get there, because everyone expects Sammy to go back. The way that it's lining up at the moment, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we only just got them back on SmackDown, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's still time.
And Jimmy has said for the last couple of weeks, we need help.
Yeah.
That's obviously been Jey. They still need more help.
While we're still on the topic of the Bloodline, I really liked the previous SmackDown. So we're going to jump back a week when Jey made a surprise appearance when he was still Intercontinental Champion, talking to Solo. And I really liked that Jey said to Solo, why did you have to go and get them? Why did you have to go get Jacob? You knew there was a reason why we stayed away from him. Without Jacob doing much except beating people up, that speaks 1,000 words.
Yep.
Absolutely fucking loved that.
And that's what they've done so well with protecting Jacob.
Yeah.
Is that every time he does something, the commentators just blow out his ass how good he is and how amazing he looks. And they've built this aura around him and this mystique around him as a person that he isn't, let's be honest, like he's got a great whisper in the wind. He's got a really nice Samoan drop and super kick and he looks pretty good. But like, he hasn't actually done anything of real consequence, right?
No.
But the aura that he has, you'd be like,
think,
he could take on Cody Rhodes and win the title.
I think that War Games match is where we're going to get like the monster Jacob Fatu. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
He's going to decimate everyone.
Yep.
Pumped for it.
I'm all
Pumped
for it. All right. Before we go...
Well, we'll keep on SmackDown.
We go SmackDown and we'll come back to the other shows?
Yeah, we'll come back. So... Kicking off, as Dan mentioned a little earlier, we got that tracking shot of Randy walking through the back, coming into the gorilla position, because we all know...
Give me the shit. It's interesting.
That's fine. Because we all know, previous week on SmackDown, Randy Orton tried to get Nick Aldis to make the match between him and Kevin Owens official. Nice hat. Official for Crown Jewel. Nick said, no, I can't do it. It's above my pay grade. And Randy's like,
It's
right.
above my pay grade, eh?
Right. I know who I need to go talk to then. So as Randy's coming out, he stops in the middle of gorilla position, looks to his left, goes straight to Triple H. Have a little discussion. Randy goes out into the ring and calls him out. And we get Triple H out in the ring to make the match official. But only after telling Randy the reason why they haven't been trying to make this match official is because they're trying to protect Randy from Kevin. Because Kevin is a changed man. All the time in the past, he's been using everyone to get himself further in the business. But this time, he trusted Cody and he trusted Randy, and they turned their backs on him.
I think it is the first time that KO's been
This is
turned
a fantastic story that they're trying to tell, because everyone was like, yeah, KO's going to turn. KO did turn, but did he really? His trust was broken.
Yeah.
And as that happens, you have a little bit of an outburst, right? We got on SmackDown the previous week, we got that promo of Kevin Owens in the car talking about it after he'd attacked Randy Orton. I'm on KO's side, dude.
Whose side do you think I'm on, man?
We got no question whose side Dan is on.
I agree. I love, like I said, the way that it's been shot and the way they've done the a couple of weeks ago where KO was like, they won't even let me, and he interrupted that women's tag match because he wasn't supposed to be on the show.
Yeah. So
that was different way of booking it rather than just getting him a straight promo. The pre-footage from him in the car saying that you've got however long to respond to me. I do also really like that the Kevin Owens contract is up.
Oh, is it?
At the end of this year.
Okay.
His contract is up.
Right.
And there has been talk on the internet worlds of him and AEW, and they're very interested in him.
Well, he's got so much history with the Young Bucks. They're great friends.
I think this is the summer of Punk with KO. And I think KO knows it. And I think he would love to lean into the fact that I'm just going to quit, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go somewhere else. He's signing. He's re-signing. He's staying.
Does he do the exact same thing and win the title and then yeet?
Maybe. Or maybe.
And then Cody gets it back. And then KO returns and he's like, I'm the real champion.
Oh, maybe.
I know we want KO and Cody and KO Roman, Cody and Roman or Cody Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. But what if you build to something completely different that no one's expecting, which is this Cody KO storyline?
Cody KO Randy triple threat. That's what I want.
Bro, this has potential to be magic.
I honestly, whether or not it's the title and he leaves or whatnot, I think that this leads to, you know how we were saying at the start of this year, Drew McIntyre's contract was running out.
Yeah.
And we wanted Drew to do this.
Look how he got presented throughout the entire year. He's been on top the entire year.
Have Kevin have this thing. Have him say that his contract's running out. Have him saying he's got nothing to live for, nothing to worry about anymore because he'll do whatever it takes. And then he wins or he loses. Doesn't matter. He's gone. And then KO shows up in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. And then he shows up in TNA, and then he shows up on an indie, and then, you know, you think he's gone, and then the next week he shows back up on SmackDown.
That'd be magic.
Love it. Let KO have a month on the indies. Let him just go around. Not obviously to AEW, because I don't think they'll ever do that deal where he gets between both. But have KO show up on a bloody episode of TNA.
Could you fucking imagine that, though? Like,
yeah.
KO showing up on AEW and then on WWE the next week. That'd be mental.
Mate, there's one person I reckon who could do it. It's Kevin
Mate,
Owens.
he like, if that was a whole plan of WWE to like let him go off into the indies and like do some stuff to build that and further that storyline, I 100% reckon KO would be able to go to the Young Bucks and be like, hey, we're doing this. One appearance, don't have to pay me. I'll just show up just to generate buzz. And then I'm out.
Time it so that it's at a Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling event where, you know, the Young Bucks are versing a tag team or something and KO shows up on that show. It's not technically an AEW thing.
we're overbooking this way too much, man. Way too much.
That's not the point here, though. But, like, you look at how, like we said, the turn on Cody was fan video footage from backstage. The fight with Randy was a different way of it being filmed. I think Kevin and Triple H and whoever's involved in this story are finding new and different ways to progress this story and make it different and make it as real as possible.
They're really trying.
And you have a point where KO has this fight with Cody or with Randy at Crown Jewel, and then he ends up trying to fight Cody, and Cody won't do it or this because he wants to be his friend, and then KO says, fine, I quit, and he just walks out the door. Can you smell that money?
Smell money.
Oh, do it, please.
Insert redacted meme of sniffing money.
Motor City Machine Guns, do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, we'll quickly touch on them. I mean, like, they won the tag titles, which we unfortunately spoiled before we sat down and watched SmackDown.
Yeah, it was
but the fact that within 3 weeks of being in the company...
2 weeks.
Yeah, so because their debut was last week. He just put the tag titles on. And we talked about this.
3 matches, 2 weeks, tag titles.
We talked about this like a month ago, when we caught rumor that they were coming on, debuting on SmackDown. And we were also talking about the Lucha Bros coming, but we know they're not coming for a while. And what do you do with Motor City Machine Guns? Because everyone was expecting them to go to NXT, and then the vignettes started happening on SmackDown. And we said, like, what better way to introduce them than have them win a number one contenders tournament, which they did, and then just put the titles on them, which they did. Like, they're such a well-tenured tag team. They've been doing this for 20 years. That was the perfect way to bring them in.
And I think the really good thing about it too is that this now means that, as angry as I got about the IC title stuff, the whole War Games thing and the whole Bloodline story now has no
belts. And it doesn't need belts.
Because they just
It's
hold
about
them
the
up.
Ulafala.
Correct.
That's the belt.
Absolutely. And I think that's smart. And I think that this means you can get the machine guns out there to have good matches with Street Profits, DIY, Pretty Deadly, AOP, if you want to throw them over from Raw, whoever. Like, they're going to bring that tag team division back, and it's not tied down to the Bloodline. Sure, you can put the Tongas back in and give them a match or two for, we want our rematch or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure, and they'll have a good match with them. But I think that keeping them in the Bloodline story is enough. You don't need them having titles. So, apart from the guns getting heavily def-rebelled, Oh, the
Not a
entry
fan of the music. I think it's the, like, raise your fists.
Clap, clap.
I like the part, but like raise your fists, I just yeah.
Look,
Anyway,
I get it's one of those things where they're trying to get the crowd through the music, but it's also the same reason why I really hate Mercedes Monet's music. It's because it's like CEO. It's telling you chant CEO.
Yeah.
Let's do it while we're doing it. CEO. It's telling you to do it. If
and
you
it
want
makes
me
you
to
very
raise-
uncomfortable.
Yeah, because like I don't really want to chant that.
I don't want to chant raise.
I don't want to
fist.
raise my fist.
I want to raise the horns when I'm at a metal concert, but that's about it.
Yeah. Or you do this if you're Greg. Have you seen Greg?
Well, it's because he's tall.
Wait, that's too high thing. No, so a mate of ours, Greg, who sometimes watches this podcast. Hey, Greg, how you going? How's Bali?
Love you,
on a
buddy.
good holiday? He tends to, because he's a bit taller than me, he told me a while ago that he used to, when he was in mosh pits, always just put his hand up like that, sort of like a weird C shape, so that no matter if any of his mates or anyone was taking photos of the mosh, he'd be like, oh, hey, there I am.
Oh, right.
Because he just holds this up above the whole crowd.
Righto.
Even like we're talking and doing something, he'll just be like, yep.
Okay.
So if you notice, if you see him at a concert or a festival, he'll have his hand up. That's why.
I'll keep an eye out.
Not the horns. I don't know.
Touching base on other tag team champions, on SmackDown, we had announced a Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship match for Saudi Arabia, which now brings the total women on the Saudi card up to 10, not including officials.
That's pretty good.
That's a stacked women's card for a Saudi show. So the competitors were, we got Damage Katal, so Io Sky and Kairi Sane.
And they all win.
No. I mean, it ties in with your WrestleMania 41 predictions, but don't know if we want them to lose them yet. We've got Chelsea Green and Piper Niven.
You know the sad thing? We're never going to hear Samantha Irvin say Chelsea Green.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's all.
We've got Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend,
Sure.
which is pretty good. Her match with Piper Niven on SmackDown last week, Lash Legend,
Yep.
banger. Her finisher, hitting that on Piper,
Oh, it was crazy.
phenomenal. Amazing. Loved it. And then Jade and Bianca as your champions. I really hope Jade and Bianca don't lose them this quickly. Because again, it's only been a couple months.
I think this is the storyline, though, is that they are the two most dominant women, but they can't retain the titles because they just...
That's the thing, because they lost them in a triple
And I think
threat match.
Chelsea
and
Green's,
it's now a fatal 4-way.
Chelsea Green's getting pinned by Io Sky, and Bianca are going to get the shits again because they didn't lose. It's not our fault, and it's just unfortunate.
Does that then breed tension? Mm-hmm. And everybody wants that Jade versus Bianca match at WrestleMania next year. We booked some other stuff, so
Yeah, I
don't think we're too fussed on it.
Depends
But
on Charlotte, to be fair.
yeah, 'cause who knows when she's coming back. But yeah,
Crown Jewel.
check that video out. WrestleMania 41 predictions. We booked it 6 months in advance.
Yeah, way too
I
far.
reckon we got some pretty solid choices there. Other ones, a bit of fan service. A couple of mine are just fan service to myself, which is fine.
I'm more comfortable with mine after the last couple of weeks of wrestling.
Yeah, I think yours is starting to line up real nicely.
Cody, Randy, KO was one I have, and I think that's starting to look good. The Guns as the champions, that's looking good too.
Yep.
I'll just say DOI, whatever. What else from SmackDown? Can I? Okay. All right.
The last thing from SmackDown. It involves a little someone called L.A. Knight.
No.
Take it away, Dan. Take it away.
So first of all, not a big fan that LA Knight was made the special guest referee for the best of 7 match between Melo and Andrade. The fact that Melo and Andrade have had 6 fantastic singles matches over the last 3 or 4 months to lead to this best of 7. I don't know if wrestling fans appreciate how much a Game 7 is for, the NBA,
Hockey,
for
NBA.
hockey, for baseball. Like Game 7 of a World Series is
That's
it is it.
the pinnacle.
And you get LA Knight as your referee.
Look,
Which is look back.
I'm sorry.
Let me talk to you. Okay? A, comes down in his stupid jeans and Timberlands. What a dickhead. Secondly, why is he wearing his own vest over the top of the referee's shirt? Thirdly, why does the match start? He's the referee, and he's still got his US title belt on, and his sunglasses, and his vest. He's making that entire thing about himself in the middle of the ring. What a dickhead, right? That's my first gripe of this whole thing. Corey Graves even says on commentary, we normally talk about how referees can't see things. How can LA Knight see things where he's wearing sunglasses indoors, right? So the commentators are even saying it. So that's really annoying. Second point, we come back from after the break. That's fine. Bit of a miscommunication where, they almost hit LA Knight and then Carmelo jumps over the top of him to hit Andrade, but he touches him and he gets angry about it. And then he ducks out of the way and bang, cops a super kick, right? And so then LA Knight comes in and then he throws Carmelo over the table and then he bloody BFTs Andrade and then he BFTs Carmelo and then he gets on the table and says, no, you're all losers. You're not coming for my title. No. That is the biggest, heelest thing to do for someone that is actually one of your bigger baby faces. Why would a babyface champion cause the disruption for two people in a match to then have to face them both in a triple threat match and then get on the table and say that you're both losers and not as good as me because I'm LA Knight? That's not what a face champion does. I don't get it. It's horrible. And it's ruined a best of 7 series that was really, really good. The last match in that series is now absolutely null and void because LA Knight got his hands all over it because he could not be the center of attention. And I get that it plays the storyline that what Aldous has said. You have to be the center of attention. Fine, you're now in the middle of a triple threat.
Yeah.
I get that was what we had said 4 weeks.
Everyone was expecting that triple threat. Just not happy with the way that we got there.
Don't ruin the best of 7 to get there, right? And don't look like such a douchebag as the guest referee and fully heel stick it up. That was heel LA Knight. And they still want the fans to chant him and say that he's everything. No, not buying it.
No.
I'm out. Plus, BFT's a shit finisher. I've said it for so long.
I don't have any arguing points. I wasn't exactly thrilled with the way that match panned out. So we'll leave Dan's comments as the closing comments for SmackDown. Terrible way to get to the triple threat, but we all saw it coming.
One more thing we have to talk about.
What?
Maybe the two bloody world champions talking to each other in the ring.
No, it was all right. Cody can fuck off.
You're not a fan of that?
No, it was actually a really good promo. I forgot about it, though.
Really Team Gunther, though, right?
Absolutely Team Gunther. He has to win this.
Oh, for sure.
Gunther has to win this.
A, for the fact that Saudi loves him.
Yeah.
He won King of the Ring while he was over there. B, Cody has enough outside storyline with KO and Randy and the Bloodline and Jay and all that stuff that you can give him an excuse for him to have lost. Gunther is so determined, so focused, and this promo says the same thing. He goes, I say no to the media. I say no to things because I am the world champion, and the one thing I care about is this title.
Yep. That's all he cares about.
That's what I want. Yep. And he is the ring general because in that ring, he's the best.
Yep.
I despise the Saudi blood money title belts. They are atrociously ugly things.
They're so big.
The fact
they're so sparkly. They had a spotlight on it and you couldn't see it because it was so fucking sparkly.
They
ridiculous.
Opened the box for it
and then closed it.
Bottom of a set of stairs for no reason whatsoever. Then close it and then carry it to the ring. The way that they are treating these belts like they are the greatest things since sliced bread is 1,000% because Saudi Arabia have paid them millions of dollars to do it and give them their own titles that literally no one is going to talk about one day after Crown Jewel.
No, we'll talk about it in the review and then after,
you will never see
done.
this belt again. You will never, ever, ever see Gunther carry this belt.
No. Except at Saudi.
At the show, he'll have it. He'll sit down at the press conference with the big belt out there looking how fantastic he looks.
And then they'll put it back in the suitcase and then they'll put it in storage for 10 months until the next...
Yep. I hate that idea of those stupid belts. But this was
a
very good promo. And the way that Cody said that, the way that Cody got the crowd to be him, saying that, he's a little bit kooky. Have you seen my brother? I do it for them.
Love that
I do
comment.
it for him. I do it for my family. It makes Cody the baby face entertaining character that he has the universe behind him.
Yeah.
Gunther has us behind him. He has the marks behind him. He has the people that respect the ring general and what he does. It's not a clear... It is a face versus heel, but it's not as clear cut as it could be, and I think WWE knows that.
Yeah.
I think they know that Gunther is going to get cheered by a portion of people, so let's just have... Because the way that Gunther did that whole promo, and he talked out Cody, and he kept on saying things, he goes, I can say no to you, I can say no to the boss, I can say no to the fans, was only so the fans would boo him.
Yeah.
Because they weren't before that.
No.
They were like, yeah, no, he's right. Yeah, he's right. Hey, no, don't be mean to us.
Literally. That's how the fans reacted. I think this is going to be a really good match. Like, you look at the match that Cody put on with AJ, who's a great in-ring talent. Gunther's at that level.
Absolutely.
And I think, I don't call it, it's going to be a 5-star match.
Okay.
I'm going out on paper and saying it right now. It's going to be a 5-star match in Saudi.
And KO is going to cause the interference and the loss for Cody. How? Just
existing. He's going to pop up on the Titantron and
go. Well, him and Randy is now on the show, so you know they're going to be there.
They're both going to be there. KO will come out. Randy will come out to save him. No. Won't be a clean loss.
All right, we've got 10 minutes.
Quickly touch base on NXT because I want to give huge props to the women's division there. They've grown exponentially over the past few weeks. We had Julia come in. We then had Stephanie Vicker come in, who I'd not seen her in-ring work before. I've seen her now in 2 matches, and she is the best in-ring talent that WWE has right now. I'm just going to put it out there. She is fucking fantastic. I can't wait to see what her future in WWE holds. The tag team match at Halloween Havoc in a couple days is going to be brilliant, I think. Cora Jade and Roxanne versus Stephanie and Julia. It's going to be great. And then we also had the debut of our girl Delta, now known as ZARIA, at the end of the show.
Zaria's gonna kill
Doesn't have the same ring.
Zaria's gonna kill you. It needed to be 1 syllable.
Yeah.
That's why what? Delta's gonna kill
That's 2 syllables.
Yeah, but like...
Would need to be 1 syllable, yes.
Zaria's 3, so it needs to be 2 syllables. Right, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
But, it doesn't have the same ring. I don't even know if the US fans are going to do that anyway.
She looks so intimidating.
The way that she just popped up, and like I've seen a lot of reports during the week that it wasn't just here in Australia, in the US. The feed got cut.
Oh, did it?
I don't know what happened. If by some chance you were at the taping of NXT and you watched this podcast, comment down below. Let us know what actually happened after that. Did she do anything? Because all we got was she was standing menacingly at the entrance and then it was black.
She's here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then that was it. I mean, awesome. It was a really menacing way to introduce her because all the vignettes leading up, Halloween Havoc, 2710, we were waiting for Halloween Havoc. We were not expecting her on this episode.
When they spun that wheel, that was Fallon Henley in that, right? Did they have a match?
So it's a member of Fatal Influence versus Kalani Jordan for the Women's North American Championship.
Okay, so Delta's winning that title. She's not going to go straight to Stephanie and...
No, because I feel like that's their territory.
Yep, agree.
And Zaria's going for that title, and Kalani's getting killed.
I'm all for that.
Respectfully.
Yep, and look, I think that's fine. Yeah. Bring it on. Get her straight to build. Build her up.
While we're on the subject of Zaria, I do want to quickly touch on the PWI Women's 250. I have a list here of all the Australian wrestlers who made that list.
Can we just comment that they were 1 and 3?
Number 1 and number 3 were Australian wrestlers. So, mate, we are on the fucking map.
Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, mate.
So, number 1, everyone knows by now, Toni Storm.
Yep.
Gold Coast, Australia. Number 3, Rhea Ripley.
Who's 2?
Who was 2? Sure as shit wasn't Mercedes Moné. I've only got the women and where they made it.
I'll Google it while you go for the Aussie.
All right, so number 3, Rhea Ripley. Number 22, Nia Jax. Now, you might be wondering why I'm saying that. She was born in Sydney. That's why she's on this list. Number 49, Shazza McKenzie. Number 70, Zaria. She's in the top 100 of women's wrestlers.
Number 2 is your mate, Jordan Grace.
Oh, yeah, that's right. How can I forget? Soon to be WWE NXT champion next year. That's my pick for NXT Stand and Deliver. Jordan Grace wins the title off Roxanne. Off Julia. Stephanie? I don't know who's going to be champion by then, man. I don't know who's going to be champion. Number 99, Lena Cross, our girl. She's on the wall there.
Tallest one on the indies.
101, Steph DeLander. pop a photo right down here of a photo I got with Steph DeLander when she was down here for World Series Wrestling.
Oh, yeah, with Deathmatch King Matt Cardona.
Yep. 125, Rita Stone, who was challenging our Slam Women's Champions Kingsley next weekend at Slam. 125.
Wow. Good job, Rita.
Unfortunately, Kingsley's not even in this list. That's very disrespectful to our Slam Women's Champion.
And the Backslide girls as a whole.
Yeah, come on. 135, Aisha. Apologies, not familiar. 166, Jessica Troy, who we will be talking about a lot in that PWA Coliseum episode. Check that out. 203, Cherry Stevens. 209, my girl, Charlie Evans. It's Chev's country, mate. And then 213, Xena.
I
didn't know the Warrior Princess was Australian.
Neither did I. Lucy Lawless, hey? Well done. That's great.
Funny. Let's move on to AEW.
Well, no, before we move off NXT, I just quickly want to touch on we've talked about the Trick stuff and Ethan Page previously and how that's going.
That promo this week was phenomenal.
Very good.
Why they took the title off Ethan after he delivered a promo like that, I don't know. He put Trick in his place.
I guarantee that was the network saying that we want Trick as our champion.
Yeah, I know.
The CW was Trick.
I know. But that promo Ethan delivered was phenomenal. He's meant to be heel, but he was just talking facts.
He's really good.
He's so good. We never got any of that in AEW with Ethan Page.
Was really good. And should never have lost their title. Obafemi.
Look, as soon as they booked the second match and they started doing that redemption arc of Tony being scared, and I knew it was coming.
It's the family, bro. The family.
Forget about it.
Obafemi is going to destroy literally every single person on that roster. Do you tell me the Don beats him?
Someone's going to beat.
Fucking roll up.
Yeah, the roll up was a bit shit. I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit shit.
All right, look, fair enough if you want to move Obafemi away, but this, I swear to Christ, if HBK does what Triple H did with Bron Breakker and be like, we're going to move him away over to the main title. Just kidding, he's coming back,
and then he's going to win back. Look, he
don't do it.
He got the accolade of being the longest reigning North American champion. I'm sure that was the goal from day dot.
Yeah, but the Halloween Havoc gets a Devil's Playground match, so it's going to give him an out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Devil Playground, the Trick match.
Tables, ladders, and scares is what they've got.
Either way, it's going to be a no DQ, something that's going to give him
He'll get put through the table, he'll be going for the belt and he'll get pushed off and go through a table on the outside, and that's how he loses.
Yeah.
But Oba's not getting that title back. Sorry, man.
I know. Just fine. You know what? Make it such a bad spot that he goes through a table off
onto fucking cinder blocks, and then he gets a plastic bag on his head and a syringe through his.
You leave Danielson out of this. No, let's absolutely just destroy Obafemi so that he is not shown on NXT again, and then he can show up at the Royal Rumble, and then have him roll through the Rumble.
I think that's not a bad idea.
And then have Roman defeat him and knock him out or something, because he can. There was talk of Brock coming back, and then people have said that that's not true and it's not actually happening and things like that. Have Oba beat the Brock Lesnar role in the Rumble, and then have Roman beat him to win it.
I know you said it's not happening, but what if Brock's the fourth man in the Bloodline match?
Why would Brock side with Roman? That's the dumbest thing you've said in a very long time.
Nah, mate. Why would Cody team with Roman?
We've already, because they had that talk on a football field in Atlanta. And they were like, we're best in this. Look at us both drive cars to this stadium that's empty, and we're going to shoot his very cinematic promo here.
Cinema.
Become best friends. Cinema. All right, let's quickly touch on AEW before we touch on the show. Minutes.
Yeah, shall we, well, I don't need to, but shall we shave our heads in honour of Kyle Fletcher?
No, I'm not doing that. No way.
You'd have a mug and a half with bald head, eh?
Oh, I'd look so bad.
You'd have to wear a hat all the time.
Yeah, no way. Great promo from him. Obviously, the him and Ospreay stuff.
Yeah.
The turn on Ospreay at Wrestle Dream.
Which I think we all saw coming at some stage.
I didn't expect it
this quick, yeah. Konosuke Takeshita being our international champion now. 2 thumbs up. Love it.
He had in a great match at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling.
Yep. Against Speedball Mike Bailey, which got 5 stars. And then on night 2, did he defend it against Speedball?
I think he had a match on night 2 as well. That's when Ricochet showed up. But that match, Wrestle Dream, Ricochet, Ospreay, Takeshita, 5.5 stars. You haven't watched it yet.
No, not yet.
Should watch it with you.
Yeah, I'll get there sometime.
It's a banging match. It really is very good. But I guess the one thing that we need to touch on from Wrestle Dream that we will talk about has been the whole diametrical shift of AEW with Bryan Danielson losing to John Moxley.
Which we were in line to get into day 2 of PWA Coliseum when we saw this, and we were just like, what the fuck? We didn't expect John Moxley to beat Daniel Bryan.
Suppose this was the story. This has been the plan for months. It was always the plan for Moxley to turn heel and have this whole storyline come off the back of Bryan Danielson. So look,
It's crazy to think about.
the Wheeler Yuta to turn on Danielson, the plastic bag spot again. Obviously, he's now going to get his surgery and he's away. But
Yeah.
Danielson as a full-time wrestler is now retired. He's done.
He'll come back. He's not fully retired as a full-time wrestler yet.
He'll still do pay-per-view matches.
Yeah. He's still got matches under his belt, for sure.
But like I said, the diametric shift of the BCC to whatever they are now as Moxley's crew, essentially just being the arch villain of the entire AEW locker room, has really changed up that product.
Yeah.
And it's getting characters like Orange Cassidy that were kind of plateauing, not really doing too much, giving them a purpose. Someone's got to take down Moxley. And the thing that I've really liked from the last couple of weeks of Dynamite is Moxley is your world champion. He's not walking around with the belt. Because the belt's not the problem.
He doesn't care about the belt.
He doesn't care. He is on top. This place is run by him now. And if you want to go through, you've got to go through him. It's not for the title, for the company. And the way that the Bucks and the Elite are there, but then they're like, no, we better not. And you're now going to see AEW wrestlers either call them out for not doing anything about it, or finally have them turn and do something about it. Is this the turn of the Elite? Or do they keep saying no, and then you get your Kenny and that to come back and get rid of the Elite, and they take them on?
AEW has done some good stories in the past. This is probably some of the best story work that they've done so far in their 5-year history. As long as the payoff, whatever it may be, makes sense and works and is entertaining, hands down, best story they've ever done. I had a thought as you were talking. Does this kind of feel like maybe like a modern day NWO offshoot?
Kind of.
Because NW came in and they tried to take over WCW.
Yep.
And then like they tried to do the really bad take over WWE, inject the poison, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like they're just trying to take over the company and put it into the ground.
Yeah, but the difference is this isn't an invasion. This is from the inside out.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that more.
Yeah, it's really intriguing.
As long as they can stick to the storyline. You look at things that they haven't stuck to the storyline, but like Adam Cole's just come back as a face.
And then all of a sudden Undisputed Kingdom are now
they're all
faces.
friends and hanging out. And the Devil, don't worry about that. Didn't happen.
Don't worry about it. Where's Wardlow? Is he injured?
No, I don't know. Don't worry about it. Who's Wardlow?
Number 30 in the Rumble?
But like that was a different part of the show, and I think that the focus being on Moxley is good for all the other characters that really don't have that TV time. We're probably going to touch just over. We'll try and get to the hour quickly. Finish up with these two more
That's right.
things I want to rant about quickly. Kyle Fletcher was great. It's a great promo. Shelton Benjamin and the Hurt Syndicate.
We're just waiting on Lashley to pop up, mate.
He has been so good. The way that he has wrestled as a big man.
That match against Leo Rush was fantastic last week.
And this week he had an even, well, not an even better, but he had just as good a match this week.
Yeah. I haven't watched this week yet, but
Shelton is so good.
I really find it funny that he faced off within a couple of weeks of being there with Max Caster.
Yeah.
Who
called him out.
Called him out on CVV.
Yeah.
Saying, we don't want you here. And now he's here.
Speaking of people we don't want to be here, we'll finish with this. The Nuave Chris Jericho. He's the 9-time world champion. He beat Mark Briscoe.
As soon as he mentioned the Nuave thing, I was like, it's happening at some point. He's going to get that belt.
I'm the learning tree.
Hi, guys.
Look, you haven't watched the match yet, but
No.
like I said, 30 seconds into the match, Jericho's
Apparently a train wreck.
there was so
Not
many
in a good
spots
way.
with ladders, and Briscoe was busted open. There was a point where Briscoe had like the 15-foot ladder, like the real tall one.
Yeah.
And rather than putting it under the belt, he put it in a corner so he could climb on top of it to hit Jericho with a froggy bow through a table. Which he did.
Jesus.
And then he went to climb the ladder, and rather than like that be the finishing spot, Big Bill came out, chokeslam. Like, Big Bill grabbed him off the ladder, held him up over the top rope. Like, just, it was a huge
Good old Big Bill, mate.
And then he just grabs Jericho on his shoulders and just carts him up and grabs the title.
The nueve.
What are you doing?
Well,
What are you doing, Ring of Honor?
you like, you've got the BCC stuff going on, taking over AEW. Some of the best story work you're doing, and then you've got that.
Yep.
We wrapping it up?
I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say. I haven't watched the match yet. I have no more opinions than that.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, in terms of good things for AEW, Ospreay, obviously him and Fletcher.
That's going to be stellar feud.
Him using the Tiger Driver 91 on him as well. Injure him and take him out.
Loved it.
That's a really good touch. Takeshita getting the title, I think, is great. Opens up a whole bunch of different things.
Yep.
I'm actually interested in the Elite. I don't care so much about them with Private Party. That's boring. Don't give a shit about it.
Yep.
But their reactions to how everything goes in AEW with Moxley is interesting. And whether that brings a Kenny back, whether that gets, I don't know, other people involved. Hangman and Jay White are kind of off doing their own little thing. Wait till Samoa Joe comes back. I don't know. There's intrigue there.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're a fan of AEW solely, a fan of WWE, or you watch both, and New Japan and all of the above, can't lie, we've got it absolutely fantastic in the world of professional wrestling at the moment.
Yeah.
We're spoiled. We got good things going on all fronts, some bad things going on all fronts. All products are equally shit at some stages.
Sure.
Yeah. We're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning in. Comment down below what has been your favorite point over the last couple of weeks about AEW, WWE, New Japan, TNA, you name it. Tell us what you love in the world of pro wrestling right now. He has been Mr. Dan Danielson. I have been Rowdy Roddy Reece. We have been around the pool table of relevancy in Madison Square Garage. Thank you for coming back down under the mat. We will see you next week for our review of the Blood Money Show, Crown Jewel. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.